Welcome to the Thrive TV show with Lauren Parsons, helping you boost your health, energy, and productivity.
Hi, and welcome to Wellbeing TV. I'm your host, Lauren Parsons, Wellbeing Specialist, and I'm so excited that you are joining me today because I've got a very special guest for you, someone that's going to inspire you to help you boost your health and happiness for life. So please welcome Dr. Jody Stanislaw. Welcome, Jody.
Thanks, Lauren.
So it's great to have you here. Yeah. Jody is someone that you're going to want to get to know. Now, I met Jody online having watched her phenomenal TED Talk, which is Sugar is Not a Treat. This TED Talk, not only is it entertaining and insightful, it's going to change the way that you think about sugar. So I encourage you all to go and check it out. It has had over 500,000 views on YouTube, and that is just going up every single day. So I'm thrilled that she's getting her message out there. Now, Dr. Jody received her doctorate in naturopathic medicine in 2007. She's a certified diabetes educator and type 1 diabetes specialist. She's lived with type 1 diabetes since she was 7 years old, and she's dedicated her career to helping other people with type 1 diabetes. She has over 30 years experience, and she teaches life-changing information about how to successfully manage type 1 diabetes that most physicians have never learned. And it's there to help the millions of people that are struggling with type 1 diabetes. So she shares this information that they desperately need to know. Patients from over 30 states and 10 countries have worked with her via her virtual practice, and there are millions of people still around the world still struggling. So to tackle this gap, she has just launched the first ever type 1 diabetes virtual training course. And you can find out more about that, and we'll tell you more at the end at drjodynd.com. And I also encourage you to head over there and you can register for her updates. So it is such a thrill to have you with me, and I'm just looking forward to hearing your wisdom, Jody. So can you just start by telling us, what was it that made you become a physician?
Getting diabetes when I was 7. I spent a week at the hospital in Seattle, and it was a children's hospital, and they made it so fun for me to be there that I really felt called since then to want to make a career of helping others. And that took me until the age of 30 to actually go to medical school, because I was so frustrated with the medical system. I didn't think I wanted to be part of it. And then I found a holistic medical school. So I'm trained as a holistic primary care physician. Mm-hmm. And then I wanted to reach people all around the world. So that's when I decided to focus on type 1 diabetes, because living with it myself for over 30 years, I really have knowledge that many trained physicians just can't necessarily ever get, because if you don't live with it on a day-to-day basis, you're missing out on a lot of education. So I do help patients all around the world, and I do sometimes take patients that don't have type 1 as well, because I have such a passion for healthy living and helping people, just live healthier in terms of eating better and lower stress and more exercise and taking better care of themselves. And I love being a counselor. I love being a motivator. I do all of that for my patients.
Mm-hmm. That's good. I think that's where we're so in tune, It's just that holistic approach to helping people to really make practical changes in their lives, which you're so great at. So tell me, if you could put it in a nutshell, what's your philosophy around diet and nutrition?
Well, I have kind of a catchphrase that I use a lot, and it's called the 4 pillars of health. And I talk about these are the 4 pillars that really set the foundation for our well-being. And if we don't have, it's just like a 4-legged chair. If there's anything weakened in each of the legs, then we're out of balance. And so those 4 pillars are adequate and sound sleep, healthy, wholesome nutrition, mental health and well-being, which includes stress and spirituality and community and all of that. And then, of course, exercise. Mm-hmm. So anytime I'm taking an assessment of a new patient, I'm always asking them, how are those 4 areas for you? Because they could be coming to me with migraines or, GI problems, digestive problems, or even, skin problems. And every single patient, I will ask, are you sleeping? How's your emotional health? What is your exercise? And what do you eat? And my vision of a perfect world would include questions around those 4 areas in absolutely every medical visit, because they are one. Your health and your lifestyle They all feed into each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that holistic approach that's going to make a difference. You could be trying to help someone with nutrition advice, but if they're not getting adequate sleep, or if they've got stress and they're not able to manage it, it's just all going to affect, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Can you tell us a bit more about the key messages you shared in your TED Talk, and what your key message was that you really wanted to get across there?
Yes. And actually my TED Talk is right on the homepage of my website. So it's super easy. You go to Dr. Jody ND and it's right there. So I am bothered on a daily basis about how I see sugar as so accepted. It takes up so much room in the grocery store. It's fed to kids at schools. My parents that I work with, because their kids have type 1, will be angry that their kids can't eat like all the other kids, which means all the other kids are eating sugar every day. That we call it a treat. Like, oh, this is such a special treat. Well, no, it's not. It's killing us. It's causing heart disease. It's causing cancer, depression, fatigue, obesity, type 2 diabetes. If you take all of the deaths from those afflictions combined, it's more deaths than automobile accidents. And we need to wake up, and we need to, I see parents feeding their little children with their brain barely even, into development yet, and they're feeding their kids sugar. And that affects, sugar does brain damage. It does damage to children if they're eating it on a regular basis. Their brain is not going to function fully. And we use it as we give it as gifts, and we give it as love at Valentine's Day and at Christmas. Everybody is getting cookies and they feel so obligated. And it's like this juggernaut of negativity that everybody has just accepted as something positive.
Mm-hmm.
It's just distorted thinking that's killing us.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like because it's so acceptable and so commonplace that we're just not really aware of what it is doing? Or, I feel like sometimes there are a lot of people that are perhaps walking around just a bit frustrated or a bit lethargic or just not quite their best, even though they may feel relatively healthy, that they're just perhaps missing out on really being their best selves or having optimal health. And sometimes it just takes the edge off and we're perhaps not even aware. Yeah. So if
I
people...
get emails.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I get so many emails from people that have watched the TED Talk and they've made simple changes, and they are writing me to let me know how amazing they feel. They didn't know how bad they felt.
Yeah.
So I guess the masses aren't aware of it, but having type 1 myself, I've been acutely aware of literally I've never mindfully eaten a single bite of sugar my whole life. I've never had the maybe gift or maybe not a gift of just putting sugar in my mouth and not really paying attention. I wrote down every single piece of sugar I ate when I was a kid for 10 years. I had to write down every time I had sugar. And, you can't eat sugar mindlessly if you have type 1 diabetes. Mm-hmm. So when you say, well, don't you think the masses aren't aware of it? Yes, they're not aware of it. And sometimes I'm actually envious of that. I mean, obviously not, but I'm like, I can't even relate.
Yeah. So when you talked about, what are the steps, because I'm picturing that the people watching this, the mums out there that are watching this, when you're talking about the effect of sugar on children's brains and on our lives, what are some of those practical, simple strategies that you recommend, to give people?
Yeah, I love giving practical strategies. At the end of the TED Talk, I say here are 3 things that you can do today. Mm-hmm. The first one is to always start your day not with sugar, not with cereal, not even with, a muffin, not with pancakes or waffles or a bagel or toast or oatmeal or granola, anything like that. It's to start your day with something protein-based. What your blood sugar level does in the morning can really set your energy level for the day. And so having a handful of nuts, having some celery and peanut butter, having an apple and peanut butter, having scrambled eggs, having a tofu scramble, having a protein shake that you make from either a very healthy powder, hopefully, or you can even make a protein shake with your own, soaked almonds and hemp seeds and things like that. I have an amazing recipe on my blog for a flax muffin, where it's just, you can make it in just a minute. It's flax seeds, ground flax, and an egg and vanilla. And you can either put it in the toaster oven for 10 minutes. I put everything in a coffee mug and bake it. Or if you're somebody that uses a microwave, it takes a minute to make in the microwave. My personal favorite is chia pudding. That is on my blog as well. So really finding some wholesome, fiber and protein sources to start your day. So you start your day with balanced energy. Not only are you avoiding a blood sugar spike, which then leads to a blood sugar drop. And what that means is your energy levels go like this, and your moods go like this, and your hunger levels go like this. So you're giving yourself consistent energy. And also protein takes a long time to digest. It's a very slow digesting fuel. So a lot of people say they start craving things at 11 a.m. or they are ravenous at lunchtime. When you have a high sugar, high carb meal, your blood sugar spikes and then it drops. And this drop feels like fatigue, hungry, all of those. And so just everything is more balanced. Your moods, your appetite, your energy level, when you start your day with something that's a slow burning fuel like protein and fiber.
Yeah, great. And having those steady blood sugar levels, I mean, that's obviously key for type 1 diabetes, but that's also really applicable for everyone, isn't it? And to help prevent developing type 2, would you say?
Very much. Yeah, it's interesting. I carry my blood testing kit with me, of course, everywhere I go. And so I'm always pulling out my stuff and I'm like, hey, I want to test your blood sugar. And I tested a girlfriend's blood sugar and it was 85 before she ate. In Australia, New Zealand, and Europe, the numbers 85 would be like a 4.5. There's different, things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. 85, something like that. And then she ate sushi and she ate this seaweed salad, and seaweed salad always has tons of sugar in it, and sushi is all rice. And her blood sugar level doubled. So she went to 165, which is completely out of range because a healthy blood sugar is from about 80 to 120. And so here's a non-diabetic going up to 165. And, there's so much sugar even in healthy food, perceived as healthy food like sushi or a seaweed salad. But I find that Asian foods have tons of hidden sugars in them, and so much of their meals are based on rice. And so although like the flavor of, Asian foods, but I don't ever like going to those kind of restaurants because it's very hard for me to eat. You can't even get just like a grilled protein. It's normally sauteed in a sauce or breaded in a sauce or something.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know, Dr. Jody, but I actually had gestational diabetes with my third pregnancy. So, which was devastating at the time when I first got diagnosed, but has actually given me this amazing insight because it was like a 10-week insight into testing my blood sugar levels several times a day, becoming a human pincushion like, you've been your entire life since even. And it really got me interested in understanding those slight differences between what I had thought was healthy and what an impact it could still have on my blood sugar levels where I hadn't been as aware. And so I think it's just if we can raise the understanding and the awareness around what sugars do in our body and how we can just quite simply, like the simple suggestions you've made, are very simple, effective ways to add more protein and fiber and give us that steady blood sugar level that will make such a difference, not just in our mood today, but in our long-term health. So, yeah. It's
absolutely. Yeah, and that's a big topic I bring up in the TED Talk is how it's really hidden in foods that we don't think of. Any flavored yogurt, like a blueberry yogurt or strawberry yogurt, has a ton of sugar in it because we know it's not just plain yogurt and fresh fruit. It's basically a sugar syrup of fruit flavor that they put in. And then I talk about how muffins are just glorified cake. Muffins are like cake without frosting. And one lady emailed me and she goes, I was having a muffin every morning for breakfast. And then I suddenly realized, and she goes, I just stopped having a muffin about a month ago and now I've lost 6 pounds. It's like, yeah.
It's always amazing how small changes make such a big difference.
Yeah.
So tell me about how do you actually help your patients to adopt these healthy habits? What are your strategies there?
It is a really great question. I have a whole acronym. The acronym Be Awesome is the B. It's my Dr. Jody's Be Awesome formula. And the letter B stands for baby steps. So, just have protein for breakfast. That's my top one. I have two others that I list in my TED Talk.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find what little baby step works for you. A lot of people will put off change because they feel so, just like, oh, it's such a huge thing. I'm like, well, how about just have eggs for breakfast tomorrow instead of a muffin? That's it. Mm-hmm. So baby steps. E is expect less of yourself. A lot of people think, okay, I'm never going to eat sugar again. I'm like, well, I'm not saying that. I mean, I even admit in my TED Talk that I love cookies. So I want to get people away from extremes. And so expect less of yourself. Mm-hmm. The letter A stands for accountability. When you want to make change, you really ideally should work with somebody that you're accountable to. Ideally somebody you pay, because I don't know how many times you've blown off family or friends, but that's very common. So when you put money towards something, you're more apt to step up to the plate because you want to get your value. And then it just kind of goes on from there. So, but I have a whole formula for when I work with patients. Like I said, I work with patients all over the world, and I love being a motivator and a life coach for patients, but it's, I do have a whole formula for how I help patients.
And is the rest of that, the other letters there on your website, if people want to find out what the other letters stand for? And
No, they're not. Do you want me to go over all
I don't know. I was just starting to write them down. So it's always good to start with baby steps. So baby steps, expect less of yourself and have somebody for accountability. I think even if people start with that, it's going to make a big difference, isn't it? Yeah.
That's the baby step version of my formula.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay. So just to wrap up then, if people are watching that are perhaps starting to raise their awareness around this, what would you say to somebody that's thinking, hey, I want to make sure I prevent getting type 2 diabetes myself? What would you say to them? Is there anything else you would give them as key advice?
Well, yes, but first I want to take 2 minutes to explain that type 1, what I have, is an autoimmune condition. For some weird reason, my immune system decided to attack and kill the cells that make insulin. I couldn't have changed my lifestyle much to avoid that. I mean, there's theories today that maybe my vitamin D was too low, or maybe I should have been breastfed longer, or maybe I shouldn't have been vaccinated, or, there's all these theories out there. Maybe I shouldn't have drank cow's milk so young, but they don't really know. So that's a very small percentage, less than 10, maybe even less than 5% of people with diabetes have type 1. And right now, as it stands, nobody's ever figured out a way for us to get our insulin production back. No matter how holistically minded and holistic my lifestyle is, I haven't been able to yet grow mine back. But I do believe in visualization, so I'm working on that. But anyways, type 2 is more, there's definitely genetics, there's definitely, but then it's a lot of lifestyle, right? Their system is literally worn out. Their system is tired of making insulin because every time you eat anything with sugar in it, be it jelly beans or a banana, your body has to make insulin because insulin is the pickup truck for sugar. You eat sugar, sugar goes into your blood, and then what? Well, you need insulin to pick up the sugar out of the blood and feed it to your cells. So if you don't have insulin, your sugar levels in your blood rise, which is very damaging. It's like shards of glass, like breaking apart the inside of your arteries, if you will. Causes blindness, heart disease, kidney failure, strokes. You do not want too much sugar in your bloodstream. But if you keep overeating, and then you also don't burn it off, so you become sedentary and you become obese and you're constantly eating all these high carb foods, the system wears out. Inevitably, the blood sugar starts to rise because the insulin can't keep up. And frankly, the cells also are tired of eating the sugar, and the cells close down their doors, and that's called insulin resistance. The cells are like, I see the sugar's there and I see the insulin is there, but I don't even want to take it in. So you can actually reverse that by assuming you're not late stage, which the majority are not, by basically taking stress off the system, lose weight, start burning more calories by exercising, eat a healthier diet, stop over-stressing the system. I don't even like to say that type 2 is a disease because it sounds so disempowering. Oh, I got diabetes, as if you got stung by a bee,
Yeah, it's as if it's final. And again, I've also heard of so many cases of people that have technically had diabetes and have changed their lifestyle simple things, again, starting to walk, starting to do errands, starting to take the stairs at work, making simple changes with their food and upping their protein and reducing sugars, and they no longer have diabetes. So I think
it's not inevitable.
Can be
I mean,
reversible.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, think of diabetes as obesity, if you will. Like, is obesity a disease? I mean, there's a lot of talk that there is definitely metabolic issues and hormonal issues, but in a lot of cases, if you just have a healthier lifestyle, your blood sugar level will normalize. So I think diabetes is more of a symptom than a disease in most cases. Not in all, but in most cases, it's a symptom of an unhealthy lifestyle, which is why it's reversible in most cases.
Mm-hmm. So it's about giving people hope, isn't it? Yeah. Nice. So is there anything else that you found or perhaps success stories from clients that you've worked with that you could share with us?
Well, I feel like every patient I work with is a success story. I just love my patients so much. And, you know, anybody listening, I can work with you. I can work with patients all over the world. And you know, patients, if you have diabetes, almost every patient I work with has lower blood sugar levels, which is healthier for your body. I have had patients that, of course, lose weight, and patients that just feel healthier. I just was talking this morning on the patient with type 1 diabetes, and nobody ever told her to eat less carbs. I know that sounds so obvious now, but truly, those of us with type 1 diabetes are told we can eat anything we want, and we just take more insulin to cover it. And so type 1s are out there eating anything they want, taking more insulin, but their blood sugar levels end up going like this, and making them not feel well. And even I ate high carb. You know, I remember having bagels for lunch and frozen yogurt for lunch in my 20s. And so anyways, my patient now, she's like, she's had diabetes for 40 years, and she just was going along with society, you know, bread and pasta and rice, and she didn't really, we don't ever really stop and think about, like, well, maybe I should not do what everybody else is doing and I'll feel better. And she's worked with me for over a year, and we have a half an hour call once a month now, because she's like, I never want to stop talking to you. You've changed my life. Her blood sugar levels are better than ever. Her energy levels are better than ever. She feels better than ever. The bleeding in her eye, which was caused by high blood sugar levels, is going away. And she's like, all I did was eat less carbs. She goes, I just didn't think about it. I just didn't think that something so simple could change my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. What a beautiful story. That's incredible, you know, and I guess that's our dream, isn't it? To go out and be able to impact people one by one by one and make a difference. So thank you for sharing that. That's great.
Yeah.
So if people want to connect with you, the best place is to head to your website, so drjodynd.com. They can see the TED Talk there. They can register to get your updates. And they can also connect with you if someone right now wants to book in and have an appointment. They can do that online. Is that right?
Yes, I have my calendar is attached to my website, and you can immediately sign up for an hour-long phone call. Or I also have just a free call. If you just have some questions, there's a link for a free call there too. So I generally work with patients over a period of time, you know, so normally if we connect well, then we set up either weekly calls or a monthly call, or, you know, because I really like to create a relationship with my patients. But I like to give the option of a free call at first, just so we can see if we're a good fit. But yeah, my website is, you want me to spell it for everybody, or?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and I'll put it in the notes below as well.
Yeah. It's DRJODY, and then N as in naturopathic, and then D as in doctor. So just 8 letters, Dr. Jody ND. And I also have, this is not for patients with diabetes. Well, if you have diabetes, you can come, but it's a women's wellness retreat in Sayulita, Mexico. And that is going to be at the end of February of 2019. Really exciting. We're only taking 12 women, and every bedroom has an ocean view. I've been to the villa before. It's a private villa, and I'm co-leading it with one of my dear friends. And it's just going to be a week of really beautiful self-care, introspection, and connection, and relaxation, and beauty. It's going to be so fun. So that is on the website. And then I do an annual retreat for patients with type 1 diabetes and their friends or family that want to join with them in Sun Valley, Idaho. It's the second weekend in June every year. and we go hiking, we make delicious food, we laugh, we have fun conversations. People get so inspired to see how healthy you can be with type 1. And so those are my 2 live events that I have as well.
That's wonderful. Sounds very inspiring. Wonderful. And of course, people can find out more about your online course and connect with you in the meantime. So
yes. I have a membership program where you can get free content from me every month. The membership program is specifically for patients or loved ones of people with type 1 diabetes. But my goal is to make sure that every type 1 knows how to live a super long and healthy life. I don't really feel like that's knowledge that the masses have access to. So I've created videos and handouts in my courses and my membership program that give anybody with type 1 everything they need to have a long and healthy life.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Jody. Thank you for your time. It's brilliant to have you with me. And thank you so much, everyone that's watching this. I hope that it's inspired you to shift some of your paradigms, perhaps around food, to know that sugar is not a treat. And the next place I'd love you to go is head to her website and watch the TED Talk. It's phenomenal. It's entertaining. And yeah, very inspiring. So lovely to connect with you, Jody. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks so much, Lauren. It was lovely. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Thrive TV Show with Lauren Parsons. Visit thrivetvshow.com to access the show notes and discover our fantastic bonus content. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next inspiring episode.